Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we translate corporate jargon. In this video, we are decoding another one of Shell's wonderful fillings, and don't worry, there are plenty of interesting details to find here, from changing carbon goals to financial statements. Before we dive in, if you appreciate us getting into the core of the information, make sure to subscribe and also join our Discord community where you can discuss different companies with fellow members. We have a link in the description. Today we're tackling Shell's updated Form 20F, an annual report required by the SEC, now with an amendment. This filling is essentially a yearly checkup where they tell investors how their business is going. So what's the deal? Everything seemed fine back in March. Then on July 1, Shell's accounting firm Ernst & Young flagged a problem. They weren't complying with SEC rules about auditor independence, a partner rotation to be exact. This led to I withdrawing two major reports, the audit report on Shell's financial statements and the one about internal controls. So what happens now? Brought in a new lead auditor and basically redid their homework, and they decided to express an unqualified opinion. The core message: the new audit overseen by the new lead audit partner did not result in any changes to the company's consolidated financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2023. This confirms that Shell's financial statements line up with international financial reporting standards. As of the end of 2023, Shell had over 6.4 billion ordinary shares outstanding. I also double-checked Shell's internal controls, which are the measures a company takes to secure its financial information. And again, it turns out it was effective and maintained. Now, if you want to understand what drives Shell's profitability, a key area to look at is sales from their operations. You'll notice in this category, sales from assets and businesses went from a whopping 6 billion in 2023. That kind of tells you what activities were prioritized. Like any company focused on long-term operations, how they manage their assets through depreciation, amortization, and impairment are important, which totaled almost 30 billion. In 2023, a large part of Shell's revenue came from integrated gas. What is actually integrated gas? This is the side of the company that handles liquefied natural gas, converting gas to liquid, which is easier to transport, and moving that across the globe. This sector revenue was $37,645 million. This shows the continued importance of gas even as the world moves to other solutions. Now let's talk taxes and adjustments, which can play with the numbers to make them look better or slightly different than what they are. Shell's tax adjustments from prior periods show a credit, meaning a benefit of $422 $20 It looks like Shell is banking on these properties to stay valuable, with lots of cash in exploration and evaluation assets. Issued capital and shares held in trust shows stock activity. Shell's had some recent activity in trust, with a debit of almost $100 reported as shares held in trust, showing that the company may have repurchases to distribute to employees. Climate change is already a significant factor, and Shell makes sure to disclose their analysis of the different scenarios, including those with more extreme outcomes. They do this in part through the Priceline scenarios. AEA plans could impact the upstream sector by a decrease of potentially 3 billion. Also of importance is the number of refineries. In total, Shell has 8 active refineries, with 1 in Pennsylvania. Here's what the board itself thinks. Let's shift to the Shell mid-price member. The directors are calculating the value between a minimum and maximum range given the current activity, economic and political climate. Then there are other climate conditions like Anganja 50. What about pensions? Well, they have 4% rate, so the company is set to fulfill all retirement plans. Men and women make for a diverse company. They are broken in 2 subgroups as an asset to the company, with almost 40% with women. If you have litigation against you, you're going to want to disclose it here. In this section, they list active subpoenas for records, claims, theories, and because it's not practical to list any kind of potential damages, they do not provide figures in most cases. Shell is big on leverage, it looks to me. They are heavy with long-term debt and current debt, but very well established, and this has been going on for a while. Scenario forecasts play a huge role in analysis, so be sure to consult third parties for any information related there. Analyzing these filings has given some good insight to their operations, but what are the major takeaway points? Here's my take. To summarize, 2S Shell is a company in transition, adapting to the realities of a changing energy landscape. They are a large operation with high value, but how that is impacted remains to be seen, with a large section of the numbers being sensitive. While there's no immediate indication of financial distress, thanks mostly to high current cash flows, here's what should be remembered. Climate change is the biggest challenge. It's not just about being green, it's about avoiding future losses associated with assets that become unusable because nobody wants what they are producing. They are clearly being proactive here. Navigating high operating expenses along with capital spending will require careful planning to balance both long-term climate goals and ongoing profitability. Also, litigation. Remember the oil spill? It's always a risk. They were in the crosshair because of this a few times, and these things really rack up. Shell has a good opportunity to lead in the future, but you always have to monitor these developments consistently. And that concludes this decoder on Shell's financial statements and its future. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing. Also, don't forget to swing by our Discord community, linked in the description down below, and share your thoughts. See you next time.